Okay, so every single year we come together as a team to celebrate success, to be able to enjoy it together, to eat together, to dance together, to be happy together. Because New Life is basically about having good fun. New Life is about making money. New Life is about living a longer and healthier life, a life free from chronic illnesses like diabetes, pressure, cancer, and all that. So around this time is when we come together as all distributors, plus, of course, a few guests who also would want to be a part of us, a part of our community. They can also be welcomed in. So it is our culture that every year we celebrate success. It is our culture that we appreciate every distributor for joining the team. It's our culture that we recognize and appreciate every single person that has done a 330. Every single person that has been able to step up to manager, that has been able to step up to senior manager, to executive manager, to director, to world team. And of course, this year has been quite an amazing year because we've had quite a number of people joining the team. We have quite a number of people become managers, quite a number of people becoming senior managers, executive managers, directors, all that. We've had all these, and even we've even had a chance to develop emerald directors. We've had chances to develop world team members. So it is going to be fun. You don't want to miss this kind of fun that we're going to have. So we are going to be meeting as end of on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Those 3 days, they are days that we are going to be having fun. People in Kampala, we are going to be meeting on the 9th, which is a Saturday, at a Fairway Hotel. People in Mbarara, we are going to be meeting at Adit Mall. Adit Mall, people in Mbarara, Boshenyi, all the surrounding areas, and some people from Kasese. We are going to be meeting at Adit Mall. Then the people in Kasese, there's going to be something very special. So let's all meet together as distributors so that we can be able to enjoy and celebrate success together. We want to have fun together. We want to recognize every single person. And of course, there are also quite a number of gifts that are going to be given out to all the people who have stepped up, all the 3 in 30s, all the new managers, new senior managers, new executive managers. We are all going to be celebrating together and having fun together. You do not want to miss this convention. Now, registration is ongoing. Registration is ongoing on all the different platforms. I think you see us recognizing and pinning and putting lists of every single person that has been able to register. The deadline for registration is going to be on the 31st of November. Why is there a deadline? We do not want to budget for 200 people and we receive 500 people. We do not want that. So we want every single person to register early, confirm their attendance, so that when we are budgeting and organizing the food and everything, the chairs and informing the hotels that are going to be hosting us, we want to inform them early in advance of how many people we're expecting so that we do not have those inconveniences. Now, there is going to be a lot, not just recognition, but there is going to be also a lot of massive learning. This time, all of these are the guest speakers that you're going to be expecting to hear from and to also learn from. All the world members are going to be attending. They are going to be physically present. And the #1 world team member in East Africa, Grace Chege, will also be sharing her experience. How has she been able to become #1 in the whole of East Africa? How has she been able to build a successful business? Our very own judge is Mike Van-Deventer is also going to be sharing. In fact, we are even going to be having an opportunity that Mike Van-Deventer is the one who will be recognizing the top 10 distributors of the year. Can you imagine? Now, this is an opportunity. These are opportunities that I never got as a distributor, as a manager, as a senior manager. Now, we are getting all these opportunities because it's going to be very, very special. Andrew Johnson, the Vice President, Field Development, East and West Africa, is also going to be available, sharing some messages, representing the company. What do they have in package for us for 2024? Because 2024 is going to be an amazing year. And then this convention is very, very special that even our very own CEO, Kendra Brasfield, is actually also going to be sharing with us. Can you imagine? I do not want to feel, I want to feel very, very sorry and very disappointed for any single person who is going to give an excuse and not attend this convention, because it's going to be massive, it's going to be exciting. And then to all those who will have actually become executive managers, people who have stepped up to executive managers, the dates are 13th, 12th, and 13th of January. We are going to be taking off time to go and experience nature at its best in Kalangala. Look at those blue waters. Look at the green. We are going to be there. We are going to be taking all our executive managers, all our new directors, all our new Emerald directors, world members. We are going to be there for fun, having fun, enjoying ourselves, eating, and then we shall be doing some team development activities, some leadership sessions, some planning for the year and strategizing for 2024, because we want 2024 to be an amazing and exciting year. It's going to be wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, if any single person misses this end of year convention, if any single person doesn't work to step up to become an executive manager, and for executive managers, we still have the whole of November and the whole of December. If you can still step up in these 2 months, you will still qualify to attend and be invited to Kalangala. I love telling people, life is not about work, pay school fees, get loans, work, get sick and die. No. That is not how life is supposed to be lived. We are supposed to enjoy. We are supposed to have fun. We are supposed to go to such kind of beautiful places and enjoy ourselves and relax, you know? And that is what we are bringing to you as a team. So ladies and gentlemen, let us register early for the convention. Remember, deadline is what? 31st of November for registration for the convention. And then for Kalangala, all you need, just step up. Just step up, and then we are going to help you experience the Neo lifestyle. So at this very moment, I want to take this opportunity to invite our guest speaker of the day. This is a very, very special person. He has mentored us. He's been there for us. Every single time we call him to come and share with us his experience about New Life, he is always there. I do not remember any, in fact, I want to thank God for this. I don't remember any single past time we have ever invited Mike to come and speak to us. And he said, I am busy. Or she said, I am not available. Or let me first check into my diary. Maybe I can fix it into 3-4 months from now. No, he is always been available. And he's available not because he doesn't have things to do. He is always available because he loves us. He has a big heart for people. He wants every single person to succeed. I want to thank God for that, Mike. Thank you so much for having such a very, very big heart. We truly appreciate you. And I do believe that your input is why we are here as a team, is why we've been able to grow. And I know in the next 2 to 5 years, 10 years, we are going to be having Diamond directors, President's team members, Ruby directors. Thanks to you for all the input and all the leadership and the mentorship that you're giving us. Please, you can take it on, Mike.
Thank you, Justice, and good evening to all of you. I've seen the names of everybody. I'm not going to mention you all, but many of you I realize we haven't met yet. But all the same, it's a privilege to meet you, even if it's just now using Zoom. And hopefully early in the new year, when God willing, I come to Uganda, I'll get the opportunity to meet you in person. And just in beginning, I want to say you are so fortunate to be in the Team Lion Kings. You know, I'm listening to what Justice is saying. There was just the trip to Zanzibar. I'm always jealous and thinking, I wish I could go on all these trips with you. And now the convention coming up, everything that is planned for you, you know, they needn't do that, the leaders. But they do it, why? For you, to help you see the bigger picture, to help you catch the excitement of the business. And your responsibility is just to be there, not to make excuses. We started the business in 1983 in May, and I didn't have money. Halfway through the month, my salary was gone. And we got started for the very reason that we didn't have money. Some people use it as an excuse why they can't get started. But then my sponsor and his sponsor threw me a curveball. They said the company was having a big convention in Durban. Now, I know you guys just as have been there. I think that was in June or July of that year, so just after we joined. And they said, you must come. And of course, I said, I can't come because it meant 2 nights in a hotel. And at that stage, nobody in my family ever stayed in a hotel. And I certainly didn't have the money. But I believe God moved me to go. I borrowed the money from the bank. I went, and, you know, that convention, I believe, is the reason why we are speaking to each other tonight. Because if I'd not seen the big picture, if I'd not seen the heart of the business, we might have quit, because, you know, we came in with very little direct support. In those days, the idea was you get a group of wives together, you demonstrate Super 10 and LDC, because we didn't have all the products we have today. And, you know, you sell some products and then you get another group together. So it was very much, in my understanding initially, that my wife was to go out and sell cleaning products. Now, that wouldn't have lasted, I can promise you. That way of doing it would not have lasted. But I saw at this convention, now in 1983, we were still very deep in apartheid in South Africa, but here I saw people of all races, big group, 4,000-5,000 people, together in a spirit of harmony that I didn't know could exist when people of all races came together. And I also saw people of some of the most disadvantaged areas in our country, which today, even those areas are very poor. People flee from there to places like Cape Town because there's no opportunity, there's no money. I saw people from there earning money that no Mzungu I knew was earning. And I realized, but well, this opportunity is really empowering. Let me tell you a quick story. There was one couple, Metsi and Pumza Fultani. He was a policeman. She was a tea girl, I believe. Very poor. And before the business, she one day bought a meat pie for lunch. And when he found out, he beat her up because she spent money on a meat pie. Now, that same guy, by the time we got to know them, had bought her, 1 year had bought her a Mercedes for her birthday. So from beating up your wife for buying a meat pie to being able to buy her a Mercedes for her birthday, that just showed me the power of this business. And I started understanding that it's much bigger than what I saw or understood. I must say at that stage, I still didn't really understand the business. Sometimes it takes time for one to fully uh, learn and understand the business. And that's why you also have to be patient with yourself, because there's a lot of learning to do. But I don't want to talk about that tonight. I just wanted to mention the fact that you must grab each and every opportunity that comes, especially these upcoming conventions. Then just on another note, I said that to Justice before. He looks so smart. I like that jacket. And thanks for being such an inspiring leader, Justice, together with Dennis and Joseph and the other leaders. You give me too much credit. Uh, I have given some input, some guidance, but really the work you guys do is absolutely wonderful, and I applaud you for that. And then I can't let this moment go by without congratulating Dennis for being recognized at the convention. I think, if I remember correctly, it was number 5 world team in East Africa and number 9 Sapphire director out of Uganda, out of Western Uganda. That is amazing. That's a fantastic job. And I know, as Justice said, in time to come, there will be many more Sapphire directors and world team members and rubies and even diamonds and on the way PT members. And I really look towards the dream team to set the scene and lead the way in Uganda. Because what we need is good ethical leadership. And I know that is what comes from this team. I'm not saying the other teams don't, but I have such a high expectancy and hope for what the Team Lion Kings can still achieve. So to me, it's always a privilege to be able to share with you, and my hope and prayer is always that whatever I share may bring some light to hopefully not just one or two of you, but to all of you. Now, I had 2 thoughts in preparing for this. And I think I'm going to start with the second thought. And that is that if you look at people who are truly successful in Neolife, they have big teams. The most successful distributor in Neolife, Charlie and Alta Bolton, our uplines, they have the biggest team in Neolife in the world. That's why they are where they are. You're not where I am because I've got a bigger team than you have. None of you is where Justice is because he's got a bigger team than you. So the point I'm trying to make is, without a team, we will be going nowhere in this business. There's no way we can succeed on our own. There's no way we can succeed greatly with just a few people. It's like a sports team. Just earlier this afternoon, I was watching our local rugby team. They were playing in Italy. Now, those of you who don't know rugby, there's 15 aside. Now, can you imagine if some players get sent off with a yellow card or a red card, and now the team is playing with maybe 13 or 12 people instead of 15? Immediately, a sports team is weakened when there are too few people. Now, the same idea comes with our business, because our success comes from developing a team, but not just any team, a team that grows, a team that has life, a team like the Team Lion Kings, a team where there's enthusiasm and movement. Now, when you're new in the business and you haven't got a big team yet, you're not a real leader in the business yet, the beauty is that you've got upline leaders like Justice and Dennis and Joseph and the others who create the environment where you can come in with your team and be uplifted, and educated. But you have to grow as a leader yourself. You've got to become the leader of your team. And for many people who come into the business, they might never have been in a leadership position in any big way. But you know what? And that's so exciting. Anything we need to know and need to be able to do to be successful in your life, we can learn. You can learn anything and everything that you cannot do now and need to be able to do, you can learn. Now, how you learn it, there are different ways. The team provides training, but let me skip from that. A lot of one's learning comes from experience, from doing. You see, you can be taught how to invite people, but if you're not actually inviting people, you'll never get good at that. Now, when we take action, are we going to make mistakes and have failures? Yes, of course. We will always have some non-successes, but we learn from those. We learn how to do things differently. We learn what not to do. We learn how to do things better. But that only comes from practice, from experience. But in terms of leadership, I want to encourage you right now, even if you don't have a team yet, you must strive and in your own mind make the decision that you are going to become a very, very successful leader. Because if you don't prepare for that, it might not happen for you. Now, one thing that I see with the team New Life, there are a lot of videos coming on the groups of John Maxwell. Now, he's the world's leadership guru. And I want to encourage you, it's impossible for you to listen to all of those. But there, a week or 2 or 3 ago, Justice, you can perhaps guide the team with that. There was a series of, I think it's 12 or no, 11, what he calls the unrefutable laws of leadership. It's short sessions. And if you really want to learn, what you should not do is say, well, I'm going to listen to them and sit and listen through all of them all at once. What you need to do is take the first one, listen to that, make notes, listen to it again, make more notes, perhaps talk to your leaders about it. And the important thing is to say, okay, what do I need to do to incorporate what I've learned here into my own life? Because you see, just hearing things and having knowledge it's something, but it's not much. Unless you can start applying that knowledge. And in that way, you will grow, and slowly you will grow into a leadership role. Now, don't wait until you have a reasonably big team and then say, well, I better get better as a leader. No, part of and that's why the company always talks about personal development. Part of your development starting from when you're new in the business is to realize that if you want to be successful, you've got to, in time, have a big team. And to have a big team, you've got to become a leader. Or if you are a leader, you've got to become a better leader than you already are. And I really want to encourage you to use John Maxwell's material. Don't try and listen to 10,000 things at once. That will just confuse you. Focus, and if you've gone through these, if I remember correctly, 11 laws, there are other things, other talks that you can listen to. And never just listen to say, well, I've listened. Listen with a notebook. And that's what's so nice. If you, look at something on YouTube, you can stop it and make a note and then carry it on. And you hear something that strikes you, make a note. But then what you must always do after every session where you've made notes, whether it's this way or at a convention or anything, is you've got to go back to your notes and review your notes. Look at your notes and those thoughts that came to you listening to, even as I talk this evening, it can be in the one ear and out the other if you just listen to it. But if you've made a note and you go back to those notes and you think about it and you say, well, how does this apply to me? What do I need to do? Or what must I perhaps stop doing? What must I do more of? What must I do less of? So, we mustn't live unconsciously. Just, normal people, they go to sleep. In the morning, they wake up and they go through a routine which lets them end up at work. They work through the day, they get home, all routine. You don't have to think. But to be successful in life, you've got to become a thinker. Think about situations. Think about how to do things better. Think about what you need to do to improve. So, as I said, we all need a team to be successful. Now, what you must realize is in the beginning, it starts as a small team. But the beauty of network marketing, if it's done right, it helps you to duplicate what you are doing. So let's say you sponsor 3 people in November. Sometimes we call it recruiting 3 people. So now just having them is not good enough. They must learn to do what you're doing. So you're using products, you have some customers. You must teach them to use the products to have customers. And you were recruiting them, you've got to teach them to recruit. So just having sponsored people or recruited people means nothing yet until they start doing what you're doing. In other words, you've now duplicated yourself in 3 other people. Now, if you help them, and this is just a sort of a plastic example, if I can call it that, if you help those 3 duplicate themselves in 3 others. Now, on the second level, you've got 9 people. So now you've already got 12, although you only personally sponsored 3. Now, if you help those 9 to get 3 each, that's 27 on the third level. If the 27 duplicate themselves 3 times, that's 81, I think, if I remember correctly, or 82 or something. And you have already 120 people from 3 people. So you see, it's the whole process is duplicating yourself. But if you do nothing, and that's what you duplicate, you'll have nothing. If you do things wrong, and that's what you duplicate, you won't build a strong team. And that is why you've got to lead by example. People mustn't come to your home and see any other products than New Life products. You shouldn't be telling people to have customers and you don't have customers. You should set the example, and through setting the example, you learn how to help other people do what you're doing, and in that way, duplicating yourself. Now, in doing that, it is so important to realize that personal sponsoring is where it all starts. You see, we always work on what is called the 80-20 rule. And that applies in all areas, in all fields of selling, in all businesses. And that basically means only 20% of the people in any business, for instance, would buy. 80% are not going to buy. I don't know if you've done that. You walk into a shop and you look around and they say, "Can I help?" And maybe you even went in with the intention of buying something, but what is the reaction? No, I'm just looking. And very often you then walk out of the shop and you haven't bought anything. That's just how it is. So if you sponsor 3 people, it's not to say that those 3 people are really going to get going right there and then. It might be that only one of them turns out to be a business builder. One might just be a good customer. The other one might be dead, might never do anything. That happens. So we've got to continually every month bring in some new people ourselves so that we have people that we can work with. But then the absolute key is what I've said now. We need to work with those people. We need to teach them what they don't know about the business. And that teaching is not just done like I'm teaching you now, because I'm in Cape Town and you're in Uganda. I can't be physically with you. But much of the teaching should be to show people what to do. So it's one thing to tell people to make a list of names. And if you leave it to them, many of them will come up with 2 or 3 names, and they might be the most useless names that they could think of. You've got to help them make a proper list of names, 30, 40 names. Because not everybody on that name list is going to be interested. Then you've got to show them how to invite. You help them invite. You help them get those people to a presentation, or you do a presentation, a one-on-one, or whatever the situation is. You help them get those people started. And then when those people start, you help your new downlines work with the people that you help them get started. And so you go down. Now, Justice and the leaders will teach you about that in more detail. But what you'll find in, I would almost say 99% of the cases, is that the real strong people in your business will probably not come from the first level. In other words, those that you sponsored. They may. In my whole business, I've only got one such a person, Hansie Cronje. Everybody else that's strong in my business has come out of the depths. Like in Uganda, I think Sam and Miriam Kanakulia, who are the key people that I started working with in 96 and onwards, if I remember correctly, they're 10 levels away from me. Now, as it were, if I weren't in a position, or if I didn't want to come to Uganda at that stage 5, 6 times a year to work with them and build a business, what we have in Uganda today might never have been there. I don't know, it might have. But the point I'm trying to make is you've got to work down line. So, okay, I'm not going to belabor that point. Your leaders can teach you more about that. But now, another very important thing. If you want to build a strong team, there needs to be heart in the team. Heart, like in this. In other words, there's got to be feeling for people, love, caring. I've seen in my own business, people go up to diamond, 1 diamond, even 3 diamond, 4 diamond, who are no longer in the business. Why? Because they manipulated people. They tried to manipulate the system. It was all about them. It was not about the people that they were working with. They cheated people. They stole people from other distributors. They did all sorts of things that one would say is unethical. They did a lot of good things, but the underlying tone of the business was one of really not an ethical business. And where are they today? They're gone. Now, the sad thing is when people like that who've reached somewhere in the business by hook or by crook, then eventually drop out, it does a lot of damage to the business. A lot of people get hurt. So nowadays we might go out and talk to somebody and say, oh, no, that new life thing. No, 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 no. I know about that because they know of somebody who was hurt because of something like that. So our big, big, big challenge on a personal level, and I include myself in that, when we start in a business, we start because we want something out of the business. And that's not necessarily wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. But if that remains our total focus, just what it means for us and what we can get out of it, we could become so selfish that we do what these people have done. They were willing to steal from people and cheat people and do all sorts of things just to benefit them. But what they never realized or didn't want to realize is that you sow, or at least what you sow, you will reap. What you sow, you will reap. If you sow wrong, what you're going to get is not going to be successful. So to make this short, to be successful in our kind of business and in new life, we've got to realize that we've got to look away just from ourselves and thinking about what other people can do for us. You see, if you're sponsoring people, and in the beginning, that's very natural to do it with that thought. But if you sponsor people for what they must do for you, and that's the end of the story, you're probably going to have difficulty building a good, strong team. We've got to learn to look at what we can do for other people through the products or through the business opportunity or a combination of the two. You see, if I think back to our sponsor, they quit after a while before we even really got started. I saw him some years ago at the church synod, and I was so happy to see him after all these years because I've always wanted to thank him for showing us the business, because he could just as well not have done it. Well, anyway, when I told him, the first thing he said, well, are you still in that? I said, yeah, of course. And I started telling about, what it's done for us, how we've been able to educate our children, all the hundreds and hundreds of trips we've had, etc., etc. And he couldn't believe it. But you see, the point is, what he did was to show us an opportunity, even if he perhaps just did it out of a selfish motivation. But that opportunity has changed our lives in a way that I can hardly describe. I don't know where we would have been without New Life and without now going into the detail. And that's what you must have in mind when you approach people. We're approaching people with something that could potentially be very good for them, that could save their lives, that could give them a different future, that could bring them the fun life that Justice was talking about. Now, if we come with that approach and people then say no, then we don't even have to feel bad, because then that's their problem. So anybody who says no to me, I don't worry about it. It's not my problem. It's their problem, because they don't know what they're saying no to. I had a case like that this last week. Somebody that I really thought would be good and that I know could benefit, and they said no. You feel bad for a little while, but then you realize, well, I can't carry that burden. It's not my burden to carry. It's their problem. So that makes us relax when we deal with people who don't show an interest or who might even be critical about what we do. But on the other hand, what that does, and that's the most important thing, people, that includes ourselves, have got this, call it sixth sense, you sometimes uh, feel people. They talk about a vibe. You pick up somebody's vibe. And if the vibe you put out is one of, you know, I want you for what you must do for me, people are going to pick up on that. But if you come to them and the vibe is, listen, I've got an opportunity that can help you with this need or that need. And of course, you need to discover their needs, because uh, our job is to help fulfill needs. And as much as we do that, we then get paid for that. So it's a subtle change in mindset. But that's why Neolife, one of the values of Neolife is that people are number one. Think of what we can do for people and forget about what they will do for you. That will come automatically. And those of you who hear me for the first time, uh, you'll hear me say this very often as you listen to me again and again, perhaps. Zig Ziglar, he was one of the top sales and personal trainers in the world. He said, you can have everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. Listen to this again. You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. Now, those of you who know Charlie and Alta, those of you who don't, you'll get to know them or about them. Uh, I can't imagine that there's anything on a material level or even on a non-material level that they lack. Why? Because they've helped so many people get what they want. So I want to encourage you that having become part of Neolife, you've become part of, well, the best, in my opinion, the best part-time opportunity one can become part of, with, of course, the knowledge that it can become a career, it can become full-time. And within your life, you've come into a very good team where you have all the support that you could want or need. But we have a saying in South Africa, you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Your job is you've been brought to the water even tonight, you've got to drink. You've got to accept responsibility for yourself and for where you are and for your team and for where you want to go. We can give you all the material that there is, but if you don't use it and apply it, it's not going to help you. And as I said, you can learn anything you need to learn. I've seen people come into the business that looking at them, you wouldn't give them a chance because they came from so low. But today they're high up in the business. Why? Because they could learn and they were willing to learn and they did learn. Last thought, I said we need a team to be successful, and the bigger your team, the more successful you will be. A mistake would be to think you're going to have a big team in the next 6 months or 12 months or 18 months or even 24 months. We always say to people, think about your initial period in the business in terms of a 2 to a 5 year plan in which you can build actually quite a successful team. But what can go from there can be just so much more. But you see, you can't build a team like Charlie and Alta Bolton in 5 years. They've been in the business 50 years. Now, it needn't take you 50 years to build a big business. It needn't take you even as long as I've been in the business. In fact, I have people in my downline who've gotten to the level where I am and beyond even in less time than I have. You see, each one moves at their pace. So also you don't compete with anybody else, but it would be wrong. And this is also something that I say very often. So take note of this. This is important. It would be wrong to expect too much too soon. It's wrong to expect too much too soon. Because if you don't get as much as you expect in the short term, you might be tempted to give up. And then you're like my sponsor who's lost out on millions and millions of rand because they gave up too soon. It's wrong to expect too much too soon and too little later on. Now, that part is often a bit difficult because when you're new, it's hard to imagine what you could actually have. I remember when we started and I saw the top people and heard them traveling and so on, I actually thought it could never happen for us. But what I've learned is that even from where we are now, I cannot really foresee where it could be in the next 5 or 10 years. So the real big value of this business is something that unfolds from year to year to year as we go into the future. And that is what's so wonderful, because if you're in a job from year to year, it just is the same. There's no real hope of anything great. It's just surviving until you retire and then, well, trying harder to survive. With us, it opens up all the time, all the time, all the time. Provided we tap into the heart of the business, caring for people, putting people first, being willing to serve, help other people so that they can move up. Because as they move up, we will move up. And the longer we do it, the more the benefits. And the richer your life becomes, not just in terms of money, but in terms of so many other things, which I won't try and explain now. You see, I'm long past retirement age. In fact, I'm 76. So in normal life, I would have been retired for these past 11 years. I don't feel like retiring. I don't need retiring because my life is fun. And I feel I'm doing something of value. And folks, maybe that's too far away for you to think about it like that. But I can just tell you that in your life, if you start understanding it, you'll know it's a gift from God. It's a gift from God to enrich your life and the lives of your family in ways far beyond just money. And through you to touch so many more people. But what we do with that gift, that's in our hands. So with that, Justice, I think I should finish. Because if I don't finish now, I'll always think of the next thing to say. I just hope that this is especially for the newer people, have given you perhaps a bit more of a perspective on the business. And as I was looking at the names before we started of the people on the call, I just, even although I can't address you personally, I know this business can do wonders for you. Just hold on to it. Hold on to it. Justice, thank you. And I look forward to the convention, although I won't be there in person, sadly. But thank you and have a good night and God bless.
Wow, thank you so much, Mike, for sharing with us all this wisdom. Every single time you are training us, you're teaching us, I just pray that every single person is able to grasp everything that you've mentioned, because I do believe that whatever you've mentioned is actually the password to us building bigger teams so that we can be able to succeed in this business and be able to truly achieve everything that inspired us to get into this business. So thank you so much. The recording will be out shortly. Let's listen to, I encourage us to listen to it over and over again. In case there is any downline of yours that may have not attended, please pass it on to them and advise them to listen to it, because this kind of information and wisdom is what is going to get us to where we want to be. Thank you so much, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you.